ladies and gentlemen, I don't get nervous very often. I don't get that excited. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews, but for this interview, I'm fucking nervous because I have on the line right now the former NWA champion with the most fitting nickname ever, Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Thank you for joining the 209 Kliqcast. Welcome, brother.
Hey, Big EMF, man, it's good to be here.
It's good to have you, man. It's you know, I grew up watching you in the 80s.
Well, man, I sure appreciate it. Yes, we've been around a minute.
Yeah, I have, unfortunately. Michael Sean here grew up watching you in the 90s, so we're fighting right now about which version of Wildfire was better. Which timeline did you like working in better, or did you?
Lord, I was so blessed, man. I mean, George is a baby face. You know, what a run. And then in Memphis, wrestling Jerry Lawler as a bad guy, and then going to ECW, you know, I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed them all, man. Managing Tracy and Little Guido, man, that was a blast. You know, that's something I had never done before. When they asked me, did I mind doing it? I said, well, it means no more bumps. I said, no, I don't guess I mind.
Or all for that.
Yeah, I mean, same money, so it didn't matter.
Yep.
So you got paid the same without taking a damn bump. That had to be great.
Yeah, well, I took a few with them, you know. I took a few, but, yeah, not near as many.
When was the last time you took a hard bump? You still taking them?
No hard bumps no more. No, I'll wrestle every now and then, you know, with a fundraiser or something, just in a tag, you know, pretty light. Now, I do a lot more signings than anything else, but still like to get in there and kick it, man. I still love the wrestling from the fans, you know.
I would imagine the fans, they just want to see you come in there and kick some ass. They don't need to see you bump or anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, it's and it's just good, you know, especially I started in 76, and for folks still to remember it. You remember me now, you know, what, 2022? I mean, shoot, that's a long time for folks still know who you are. And I ain't been on TV, you know, since ECW, and that was in 98, 2000 or something. You know, so it's a blessing. Wrestling fans are the best in the world, man. I mean, all sports fans are, but I love the wrestling.
Let me ask you this. You know, you won the NWA title in a time when it really fucking mattered to be the NWA champ.
You beat Harley. That's the greatest NWA champion of all time in the story.
Can you?
That's my opinion too, brother. I'm right there with you.
Can you recall what it was like? You get the 1, 2, 3 count. They raise your hand. You're the champ. Do you remember what was going through your head? And can you describe that moment?
I mean, it was just pandemonium. I mean, the fans couldn't believe it. I kind of couldn't believe it. Andre the Giant, shoot, all the guys come from the fan. Andre picked me up over his head. I mean, it's just, I'm just sitting here getting goosebumps now, you know, just talking about it. You know, because you don't reminisce on that stuff unless somebody asks you about it. But, you know, for Andre and just all the other guys to have been there on that night and to have the best of the best put you over right there in the ring, man, it's, you know, it was electrifying.
Was that something you had been building up to a while, or were you surprised? Like, how did that happen?
Was Hogan over?
Shoot, you know, it was Harley's doing. I mean, it was Harley made the decision, and I didn't know the night of right there at the bell.
Wow.
You know, so it was a big surprise to me too.
What a great surprise that was.
You ain't lying. I mean, the epitome of all it's about, man. And I was right there, and you know, my name's in that list with the greatest. So, you know, blessed, very well blessed, man.
Have you kept up the NWA product now?
I'm sorry?
Have you kept up the NWA product now with Billy Corgan and stuff on YouTube and all that?
Yeah, I watch it. They've got a good show. I went out to Kansas City, and you know, they've got a real good crew of guys. I mean, you know, everybody was really nice. I mean, I had a real good time, and thought they had a real good show too.
it has like that old school feel to it again. Like that's the show that I watch. Like I'm in the business too, but it's the one that captivates me still because it's like that's the wrestling that I want back. You know, it matters more. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's not a soap opera. It's pro wrestling.
It's more wrestling than talking and I certainly which I hadn't wrestled for AEW or Vince, but I certainly. The old school, of course, and it was right there in Kansas City too. I mean, that's where Harley's from. So it's really a pleasure for me to been, just got to go there and talk about Harley and talk about the NWA, man. So I think they're doing a real good job with it.
You've wrestled a lot of great ones. Who would you say, in your opinion, the top 3 best guys you ever worked?
When I was in Georgia, I got to wrestle, I wrestled everybody either in a single or a tag that come through. I mean, I wrestled, guys like Ken Patera, King Kong Mosca, King Kong Bundy, and then, Blackjack Lanza, the Andersons, and, as far as the tag, Ole and Gene or Ole and Ivan Koloff with me and Wahoo and me and Tony Atlas was together. God, I could go name for days. I had some great matches with Jerry Lawler as a bad guy. And then, of course, Abdullah the Butcher right there at the Omni. One night on Thanksgiving, when I first went, he beat the daylights out of me and told me, he said, I'll get back to you one day, kid. And he sure did. We tore the building down, sold out. And of course, Harley Race. He would be the number one man. To me, hands down, Harley was a ring general.
Who was the one? Man, let me ask you this then. Who was the one guy that you were like, fuck, man, this guy is stiff as fuck. I hate working him tonight. Was there anyone out like that stands out in your mind?
Well, and he'd be another one that I'd say I had some great matches with would be Buzz Sawyer.
Wow. Very famous out here in California.
yeah, I guess. But anyway, I had to, but you had to fight for your life with him that night too. You never knew. But we had draws good money. Shakespeare went around the loop for 2 years. It's probably one of the longest angles they ever run. So, it drawed money too.
And then later on, you got into ECW. Like, how did that happen? And can you talk about that time a little bit?
Yeah, man. Well, Paul Heyman, he managed me in Austin Idol there in Tennessee when he first broke into business, and then I guess Tommy Dreamer and him got together, and they called me and they brought me in to wrestle, and anyway, they come up with the idea and asked me would I manage Little Guido because they'd done the FBI gimmick before, I guess, and had some all Italians, and they wanted to put a different twist to it, so they put me and Tracy with Little Guido, and I tell you what, that draws some good money too. And,
I loved it as a kid. It was awesome.
and it wasn't meant to, it wasn't meant to be the main event. But sometimes them boys stole the show. They were both Little Guido and Tracy both. Hell of a workers. Of course, all the boys in the ECW, they were crazy, but they were some hard, good workers.
What did you think about all that? 'Cause was that they were, the extreme, they were pushing boundaries. Was that like the craziest shit you'd ever seen in your career in your ECW days?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was buck wild. I'm going to tell you, man. Them guys, I took some chair shots, but they, you had a bars about those chairs, swing chairs, your head, you're going to throw your arms up. They just dare, would put their arms up, I'd just cringe every time I think somebody's going to get their neck broke. But, and of course, Sabu, I've wrestled Sabu a couple times, another great one, Just and up there in ECW, he was just a wild man doing all the stuff he did, They just had a good group of crazy guys, and it all drew money.
Was it difficult at all to work like someone who was doing all the crazy shit like a Sabu was doing, with your wrestling style, or did it even matter?
No, not really. I wrestled Sabu a couple of times, but Sabu there again, Sabu would wrestle kind of like Harley. Some guys wrestle just one style, their style, and where he would switch. Sabu, like he knew I was limited, so he would work around what I could do and couldn't do. So it's being a technician in that ring, and Sabu was a good one. I mean, there's a lot of great talent in this business. I mean, and there's a lot of great talent in it now. I mean, it's changed. It's a different breed, but they hell of an athlete.
So what was better, the in-ring or the party scene in ECW? Because I was training Mustafa, and he told me some crazy stories about the ECW days with him and New Jack and the stuff they were doing in that hotel room. And I just wanted to...
They were wild ones. They were some wild ones. I mean, they would party.
That's the rumor. It's definitely different today. Like, people are playing video games and stuff. Back then, it was all party.
Yeah, it's a different world. Yeah, they play video games now. I don't know.
I wanted to ask you this: when you became the NWA champion, I mean, you talk about like a party scene. You were the champ. What was that like outside of the ring?
Oh, it took us about an hour to get out of the building.
Wow.
I mean, awesome. Just people waiting outside to congratulate me. I mean, it brings you down to earth. Just realize what a blessing I had, man. Because if it wasn't for them fans, there wouldn't be none of us no damn way. So,
true.
Anyway, God bless them fans.
No, man. Honestly, man, I'm just pumped talking to you, man. I grew up like when you beat Harley as a kid. Like, I couldn't fucking believe that shit. I was just tripped out on it. I couldn't believe that it even happened. It really swerved me, and I didn't see it coming. And if that was the intention, it really got through. I never forgot it.
Well, I think that had a lot to do with it. I mean, I was hot. Harley was, he was a smart man too, though. I mean, he was, ring. I mean, not just ring smart. I mean, he was smart about all the parts of the business.
My dad called me right before we went on, and I told him I'm going to go on with you. And he's like, back in my day, he was as over as Hogan. He was the man. He was the guy. He was the hottest babyface there was.
Well, you tell him I said thank you very much, man. I certainly appreciate it.
I will, because he was all excited. He called me. He's like, have you talked to him yet? I was like, not yet, Dad. He's like, all right, well, call me when it's done. I was like, okay.
Well, you tell him I said hey.
I will.
I want to ask you this. You worked in Smoky Mountain you were with Jim Cornette's Militia as the top lieutenant. Like, do you have any stories of what it was like working with Cornette?
Yeah, Cornette. It was. I mean, when it was good, it was good, and then when it went bad, it went bad. I mean, but I was up there with my cousin. We got worked with just a few of the different tag teams. I mean, we had a good run up there, and then just all of a sudden it just run out. I don't know. And of course, that was at the time when the business was changing too. The territories had started, shut down one by one, and I mean, so it just luck of the draw, I reckon. But I mean, the shows we were on, I mean, we did good business. So as far as it shut down, I don't know what the deal was.
Speaking of the territories, I interviewed Rip Rogers once. In his opinion, the business has never been better than what it was back in the territory days. Do you think the business was better then, or do you think it's better now?
Well, I think it's probably better for the boys. I mean, for the boys that are making money, it's probably better for them. But as far as learning the business, I think it was better when it was territories. I mean, like I started in Tennessee and learned so much, and then I went to Georgia and got it, because I've learned, you could go to different places, and plus the cable wasn't overlapping. I mean, you just get one tribe, whereas I didn't make it in Tennessee and I didn't make it in Georgia, I might be ready by the time I got to Florida territory and it busted wide open. So you had many opportunities if you wanted. I mean, even if you was underneath, you could still make a living and enjoy your craft. So it was just good all the way around, I think.
So when you first start the territories, what kind of money were you making back then, if you don't mind me asking, like per match? What were you getting paid back in those days?
Well, like you do TV, like I drive. One night I wrestled in Lexington, Kentucky, which is from Nashville, Tennessee, probably 250, 80 miles, whatever, close to that, and probably made $200 to $300 for that. Drove all the way back and had to drive that. I had to be to Birmingham TV, and like for a live TV at 9, so I had to drive all night, and you got paid $15 for that TV. Then you drive across and you do Chattanooga TV, another $15, and then that night you wrestle and make $200 to $500 according to where you're at on the match.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, for back then though, you gotta people hearing this gotta understand that the times $500 is a lot more then than what $500 is today.
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah. I mean, and that's why I say, I mean, even underneath. For these guys underneath card or some of these independents, it's hard for these guys to even, you just about got to have a job to support your hobby now.
Right.
True.
And I hate that for the guys that really love it, because there's so many that get slipped through the cracks too. So, and that's why territories are good. Because if you had the heart, you keep hammering until you went somewhere and got a break. You had different opportunities. Whereas today, I mean, that cable TV, you get, of course you can go from AEW to WWE, but the folks have seen you where, as I wrestled as a good guy in Georgia, I'd go to Tennessee and wrestle as a bad guy because they didn't get the nationwide TV. It was just local. So it just made it a lot simpler.
It definitely sounds a lot simpler. I mean, the three of us, we do indie wrestling out here. Most of us have jobs, but I got to tell you, man, I'm 48 and I fucking love this shit, man. I don't make a ton of money, but God, it's so fucking fun, bro.
Oh yeah, and it just and I'm from that old school. Shakespeare, Bullet Bob Arm said it the best. It's called ad lib and Shakespeare, walking and talking. I'd have a hard time like today just going verbatim, and remove. I'd be too worried about what I was going to do. Where we might have an opening spot, and a heat spot, and a finish, but the rest you just kind of played in, in between. You just played by ear, So it's a lot different now. It's old school and new school. I mean, it's a different art than what I did, but I mean, they damn good athletes.
What I wanted to ask you is your nickname Wildfire. It's a great nickname for your style and what you brought. How did you get that nickname?
Tony Atlas give me that name. One day we was on TV at 17 at TV, and we just got out of the match, and he come out and said, "This is something about this. New name is Tommywildfire Rich." And it just stuck. I mean, it was, he branded me that name, and it sure stuck with me.
And what year was that? Like, how long had you been wrestling when you got that name?
That was, that's when I went to Georgia. Let's see, 78, 79.
Wow, man, so it just stuck with you. That one moment, it stuck with you your whole career.
Yeah. Of course, the Big Don. I mean, I wasn't Wildfire then. I was the Big Don.
To me, you're the Big Don. I know. My dad says Wildfire. Like, no, that's the Big Don, Dad. Come on.
Yeah.
I loved ECW. Like, and then I was trained by Mustafa, so like, it's just ingrained in me that ECW was the be all. And then now watching Memphis, ECW was a ripoff of Memphis because now I watch all of it stuff on YouTube. I'm like, that's just all Paulie did was take Memphis and bring it to Philly.
Yeah, it's a lot of. Well, it's some of it. Then some of it they didn't like. Tracy, we did in Tennessee high spots, and then some of the other guys started doing them. They told us to quit doing it. He took some of it. And wanted to leave some of it. But it was. I mean, what they brought was good. I'm gonna tell you, they fought hard, and I mean, they give it their all. I'm gonna tell them everybody that.
Oh, so, I know it's getting late out there. We don't want to keep you on too much longer, but I want to ask you this. Do you have Any advice for anyone that's young right now getting into the pro wrestling business?
Just got to have a lot of heart and desire and know that's what you want. Because just like we said a while ago, you just about, when you get that break, you just about got to have a job to support your hobby.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It's been a blessed career for me. I mean, you know, I don't know what else I would have done. I mean, I come right out of high school and ain't never looked back, man. And 67 now, so 66. Excuse me.
Don't age yourself. Come on.
I still feel about 40.
I mean, how are you doing? You've been wrestling for a long time. Like, you know, how's your body feel these days?
It feels good. I mean, you know, I feel good. I'm down here in Myrtle Beach. Of course, you where the sun's at too. So, heat keeps the bones going. Some days you get up, my knees bother me a little bit now, but I've had 3 hip replacements.
Oh wow.
You know, but the hips are good. You know, so life's good, man. Life's good.
If there's any way fans want to find out, you know, about what's going on with Tommy Wildfire, is any way they could follow you, like on any social media outlet you plug, or is there any way they could go to see what you're going to be doing, or if you're going to be having any appearances, or what might be going on?
I'm kind of behind times. I just got Facebook, man.
Well, thank God, that's how I found you.
Yeah, I'm just a Facebook. I don't know how to do that Instagram stuff. My wife has to help me with Facebook.
Well, tell your wife we said thanks.
I'm sure there's lots of fans that want to talk to Tommy Rich on freaking Facebook, so tell her thank you.
She just said you're welcome. She's sitting here listening to it.
You know, man, Tommy, I can't thank you enough. It was just so cool and just such a trip. If I could have told my 7-year-old self that when I'm 48 I'd be interviewing you, I would be the happiest kid alive.
Well, man, I sure appreciate it. I sure appreciate y'all having me on with you.
Yeah, you know, let's keep in touch. Maybe we'll have you back on at some given point in time. And who fucking knows, man? Maybe one day you'll be out in California and maybe we'll get you on some sort of show and you can beat all of our asses.
You can join the 209 Click. What do you mean?
You can join the 209 Click, Tommy.
Good. All right, man. That sounds good, man. I appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your whole career. Love everything you did. Nothing but love and respect for you.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Thank you for everything.
Hey, thank y'all so much, man. And hey, good luck on your careers too, man. Have fun with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a blast. Thank you, brother.
All right. Hey, keep in touch.
We will. We definitely will.
Definitely.
Have a good one, Big Don.
Maybe next time we can do that.
Next time when our dickhead fucking piece of shit producer doesn't botch the finish. I swear to God, when this interview's over, we're going to light his ass up like Harley Race with someone that owed him fucking money.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Y'all have a good.
You have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, later. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That was, man. This is not what it's all about.
It is.
Dude, I can record this video part if you want. Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Without Tommy Rich,
man,
legitimately, my dad was into wrestling. Without Tommy Rich, there'd probably be no us, to be honest, 100% serious.
I mean, I don't know, man, but I'll say this. If I never made a fucking dime, I just fucking interviewed Tommy Wildfire Rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking A, man.
To my dad, Tommy Rich was Hulk Hogan. Like, you guys saw, he called me right before we got on here, and I told him interviewing Tommy Rich. He goes, he was Hulk Hogan before Hogan. And I was like, what? You know, because to me, 81, I wasn't alive. I was born in 87. CJ was born in fucking 1991, or whatever the fuck 2001. When were you born? 2001?
1997. Come on.
All right. So Tommy Rich was in ECW when you were 1.
Switzerland is allowed to speak now?
Hey, it's the dirty after hour now. I don't want to join.
Switzerland is allowed to talk. I want everyone out there listening to know that my views are 100% CJ Dirt's views, and Michael Sean's as well.
We'll have to speak with my lawyers.
CJ says he hates everyone equally.
What do you think about that? I mean, that's a Wildfire interview. Like, just
I know he's past not in your time because
I know about the man. I've seen many vids on YouTube, but
you do watch old wrestling. Like, you are a very big historian.
Sitting back, seeing Matt Freeman smile like a newborn baby, that was the best part.
Like, so I grew up with no internet watching wrestling. It was the magazines. I would run to the fucking store. I didn't get to, like, it's crazy because I didn't get to see Wildfire that much, but I would get my hands, and I would read about Ric Flair and Wildfire Rich and Harley Race. Dusty Rhodes. And, like, I didn't see those guys as much till, like, you know, they ran the reruns on World Class Wrestling on ESPN. I got to see some of them. But, like, a lot of this shit on those guys there was such a mystique because I only read about them in magazines and I had to wait like a month for the fucking magazine to come out. It's hard to describe, like, what that was like compared to now. It's just such a different thing.
I'm 10 years younger than you, so WCW was, like, already on TBS, you know what I mean? So I, like, knew who Tommy Rich was from, like, old WCW. But he wasn't like, he was just there, you know what I mean? But then he was in ECW, my shit, you know what I mean? I was 10 years old when he was in ECW. He was the man. FBI, because I'm Italian, was the coolest fucking thing in the world to me.
Me too.
You know what I mean?